I tell you, Neptune and Aries. Neptune and Aries. If you thought you saw a rise of shamans during Neptune and Pisces saga from what, 2011 until 2025, you will see them come out the woodworks. And I find you will be able to very clearly tell who is real, who is not. Neptune and Pisces is one of the energies where, at the end of the day, Pisces is very hidden. It is mystery by default, okay? It is the undercurrents of this conception of reality. It is easy to hide behind the veil of religion or spirituality, behind the guise of God and what we deem God. But it's hidden from most of us. Neptune and Aries, I tell you, I am an Aries. Many of you know this on this channel. I got this Aries stellium, and I tell you, it is one of these themes where coexisting among the fake and inauthentic, it is not the simplest for an Aries, in the spirit of an Aries, the soul of an Aries. It's not the simplest because Aries is the first light. Neptune and Aries is bringing the first light. One that we have not seen in 165 years, give or take, because it takes a full 165 years for Aries to do, or for the zodiac in Neptune to do a full transition, a full revolution. And that is exactly what Neptune and Aries is here for, the revolution. Now, let's kind of backtrack, okay? Step one, if you are interested in shamanism and you want to work with shamanism and you're no longer afraid to be held accountable to actually practice the things that honestly I might never put on the internet. Maybe during Neptune and Aries, I do start putting it on the internet because I can. Who knows? But Neptune last night, she was whispering to me. And the thing is, yesterday I had a really hard day. Yesterday I had a hard day. It was just difficult, which is what Aries is built from. It's built through difficulties. So understand that in order for us to dissolve the boundaries with Neptune and Aries, we will have to be tested in the fires, tested in the challenges of life, testing the challenges of pioneering something brand new. And I understand for myself, like I was going through something from a generational standpoint. Okay. I'm born in the Neptune and Capricorn era. From a generational standpoint, I'm going to get into Neptune and Capricorn with the history in a moment. All right. I had to go through some stuff that no one in my family has ever gone through. No one in the era and the environment that I'm from has gone through. And it was difficult. I'm like, I don't have guidance on this. I don't have any, preemptive. And so like who and what was guiding in that moment? Thank God and shout out to you. You know who you are. They didn't have the same difficulty. They didn't have the same path of challenge. And so for me, it was like it's an individual, this is Aries, an individual challenge that I had to go through. And it was very hard. Like I found myself almost spiraling out of control mentally, primarily mentally. Aries is a very mental sign. It's a technical sign. And from that, I found myself wanting to let old addictions rise and surface. As for how would I have dealt with this 5 years ago? How would I have dealt with this 6 years ago, 7 years ago, 10 years ago? Okay, Neptune and Pisces has existed. I found myself like spiraling out of control and wanting to increase the spiral. I found myself saying, you know what? I want to go drink some drink. I want to get some tequila. Oh, I want to smoke a joint. And like, if anything, these would be two main ways where I'm like, look, if I'm already spiraling, let's just do this thing till the wheels fall off. And Neptune and Pisces helped us dissolve the boundaries of barriers of how drugs will become our crutch, something we are dependent on. Where it's like, I'm not telling you not to do those things at all. I'm not telling you not to enjoy pleasures of life. You are a human being. You're here to enjoy certain pleasures. Yet and however, okay? Neptune and Aries is reminding us to come and step back into a healthy masculine. And so in a sense, my healthy masculine in that same instance says, Get a grip. Toughen up, little soldier. This moment shall pass. This moment isn't a moment of weakness that you succumb to. This moment is the challenge that you show yourself, Aries, yourself, the truth of your development, the truth of your growth. Having those thoughts of the past, having those thoughts of irrational fears as well as subconscious crutches for dependence on something, in a sense, not of God, if I go Neptune and Pisces, okay, is not it. So, I'm gonna backtrack. Neptune and Pisces is gonna be, I try to get that little personal story because one, I won't lie, like I was mad emotional yesterday. I was like, what the heck? I'm even really, really emotional right now. And energy that has shifted. I was like, you know what? I woke up. I was like, you know what? Let me cut my hair. I had to cut and clip my toenails. Okay. I had to go ahead and I had to work out. I had to listen to old music. And the thing is, Neptune and Aries, Neptune in general is about secular bliss. So secular bliss happens through things like music, putting yourself in a parallel reality, bringing myself back in time. And so what did I do? I listened to 50 Cent's first album. Okay. One called Power of the Dollar. Many of you won't even know that. If you know Power of the Dollar, drop it in the chat down below. But before 50 Cent became this iconic blah, 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 when he was really in the trenches. And the thing is, it was part of that mindset that helped me get through challenges in the trenches. And it's ironic because I listened to that today in my own secular bliss. Okay. My own individual happiness of what I needed to overcome this individual as well as internal challenge so I can go through another form of spiritual transformation as well as the grief from Neptune and Pisces as we shift, okay, March 30th, 2025 into Neptune and Aries. The grief of that old identity of mine, that old persona that needed, quote unquote, needed Pisces energy, okay, fell victim to innocent Pisces energy, even saw as a God figure at that time. When I was growing up, 50 Cent was like God to me in a way. He was like dad. He was like big brother, believe it or not, to my soul, to my spirit. It was like, he taught me so much. Where today I look at it and I'm like, that old version of 50, if anything, it's like, we have to look at the new version of 50 Cent. Okay. Who's the new version of 50 Cent? You don't see him out on the street popping people. Right? You see him a businessman. You see him a billionaire. Okay. So the secular bliss, it allowed me to kind of go into a trance, allow my spirit to go into a trance of the struggle and to witness how it was overcome, quote unquote. Okay. Through personal resources. Okay. Through trust and faith in myself. So I just wanted to give that as a little baby story as we get into some more specifics about Neptune and Aries. Okay. Neptune can represent spiritual escape. It can represent the myth of Poseidon. All right. In the currents of the deep ocean and how much mystery is within the 70 to 80% of the ocean, our Earth being a blue planet, not one of Earth, but one of water. And what water can represent through mystery and imagination, as well as creativity through the arts, through music, through acting in Hollywood, right? Neptune represents Hollywood. You're going to see a dissolution of the faith within that Hollywood realm, right? Neptune can represent confusion, chaos. Neptune can represent disillusionment, stepping outside of your body, having a spiritual experience. Neptune represents the sacrifice of your subconscious programs, the sacrifice of letting go of how might all the other masculine male figures, as we move into Neptune and Aries, how might all the males in my family have dealt with, spiraling out of control. Honestly, they might probably go gamble. They honestly will likely go drink some drink. I don't think many of them ever smoked, but maybe through smoking nicotine, and so, it's about recognizing that Neptune is a generational planet, and we have to see through the generations how that we handle things through each generation. So I'm going to take a step back right now and tap in with you hitting the thumbs up and the likes button, and also saying if you are genuine, if you are serious about becoming a shaman and understanding that you are already a shaman. I'm not going to make you a shaman. If it's in you, it's in you. And I will promise you this, it's in every one of us. Okay. Every single one of us has a shaman within us. Not all of us are here to activate that life path. So that's a completely different story. But if you're here to step into your spiritual warrior on some real, if you ready for that, I can't wait, man. I can't wait. I swear to God, I've been waiting for this for 5+ years since I've known. I was like, Neptune and Pisces, why does that resonate with me? Why does it talk to me? Because being a spiritual warrior at heart and soul, this is one of my greatest destinies on the planet. It's the thing that brings me the most joy. Yesterday I did it in the midst of this sadness, this emotional energy. I wasn't just sad. I was just, quite frankly, emotional. I wasn't really sad. I was grieving. I was sad. I was feeling this high, feeling that low. I was kind of all over the place, emotionally speaking. And it was the reminder that, you know, as this Neptune in Aries approaches, okay, what's so near and dear to my heart? And I did a heart coherence exercise on, okay, it's 2025, currently in the month of March. Like, what's my main focus this year? And I went through this. I was like, we're going to run a retreat. And it was like, we're going to do collaborations. And we're like, we're going to focus on the courses. And the number one, the only thing that my heart was like, yes, hell yeah, was working with shamans on a 1-to-1. And Neptune Aries is like, I couldn't understand it. I didn't feel what I was feeling because it still was processing. But today I realized very clearly, if you want to be a shaman, this is the transit. You want to step into the accountability of shamanism, this is the transit. You want to understand how a shaman begins to pray, not how the gods, not how Jesus and Buddha and all those other people, no, not how they talking to you how to pray, how to flat out pray with the universe, like the ethical, this in spiritual ethics of the universe. How do we pray as gods? How do we pray as gods? I am a God. And how do we no longer allow people to crucify us and we buy that story out of being inauthentic to our true godliness? When someone like Kanye West says, I am a God, and we criticize him, but plenty of us are seeing today, yes, the hell you are. I am a God. And if you resonate with that, down below in the chat, say, I am a God. Now, I'm not here to remind you of toxic masculinity, but the simplicity of the fucking truth. You are a God. Period. It is the truth. Nothing toxic about it. What's toxic is that we once believed that we were not. That we forgot. That we are a shard of divinity. That we embody the essence of spirit itself. That I am a soul before I'm a human. All right. So hit the thumbs up and the likes button. If you're looking to do that, apply. I'm opening applications back up, but likely about 2 months from now or so, I'm thinking like May to June, well, we actually start working together 1-on-1 in shamanism. So if it's of interest, drop it down below. Let's get into some of the specifics of Neptune and Aries. After I thank you for allowing me to get that emotional, like, boom, I had to purge this thing out. I love you. Okay, we're going to start from Neptune in Scorpio. Neptune in Scorpio was us seeking liberation through sexual experiences, as well as music and dance, and liberating the spirit, the soul, liberating our traumas through dance, through ecstatic forms of movement. Scorpio being a physical sign, but in a planet that is gaseous, as well as icy cold and liquidy water that is completely unidentifiable. Neptune and Scorpio was that era from the years of 1955 to 1970. And I've read charts for people like this, Neptune and Scorpio. And that's why I feel like I wanted to start right there. That's Scorpio. Now, Neptune and Sagittarius, 1970 to 1984. This is really when Eastern philosophies, this is when the man-made understanding of spirituality has started to reach the Western world of the Americas, Europe and etc. And we started integrating, non-action. We started integrating new forms of faith, new God forms, just simplicity, trust, okay, in a higher vision, right? And so this is some of the stuff that happened then. We started talking about psychedelic dancing. Psychedelic drugs might have had introductions as well during that era of Neptune and Sagittarius. Preemptive Neptune and Pisces, which are a different form of drugs. And so this is the key. I feel it was really about the religions being introduced. And I'm really feeling like Taoism and non-action and meditation and sitting in stillness, right? These are the themes there in that part of history. Now let's move into, my generation, Neptune and Capricorn. Now, Neptune and Capricorn is one that was the time of the Great Wall of Berlin coming down. And it was a very symbolic thing, right? So now we're talking the first Earth in the timelines that we're alive, right? The first Earth, which is solid, right? The wall stops me from going across the other side of the wall unless I dig a tunnel or something like that, which is a part of Neptune dissolving the wall. You're starting to go underground. You're starting to find ways and cracks and holes. And this represented the economic, dissolution of us and our power monetarily speaking, right? And so what I mean by that is we were surrendering and our purse was getting very loose during this timeline where people started just spending money and kind of feeling free in a sense, especially financially, a long time where, it may have caused some disruption and people in the high power status and positions of authority were abusing that authority. But you also saw that if you were once rich, like the rich was now making their losing their profits into the hands of the poor and etc. You didn't have to just be poor, but it was changing hands, okay, from high society to the people who might have been suffering. Neptune representing suffering. And so this is something that was really key during that timeline, during the whole Soviet Union and communism. The market started having a dysregulation and everything was loose financially speaking. We kind of had to we started encouraging more spending for the first time, all the big banks. There's Neptune and Capricorn. And now we move into, and that was from the years of 1984 to 1998. And again, I read a lot of charts for people in my own bracket, my own year. And so you see like people like me, we essentially stopped caring about money in ways that people prior might have held on to it because Capricorn is a cardinal energy and it moved forward. Yes. And so now let's move into Neptune and Aquarius. This is a key generation. I've also read charts for these people in this year, 1998 to 2011. Now this is the one right before we just ended by this video coming out. Neptune and Aquarius from those years was the rise of technology as well as like community and like coming together and wanting to be like world peace humanitarian type people. And these, I would even say judgments and criticism happened about, why is this happening in the world? Why is everybody not included? You start seeing with this particular generation a big acceptance when it comes to sexual preference and identity, because it's like, we're all one kind of energy. But more importantly than that, you'll see that humanitarian energy started getting more connected and widespread through technology, right? So, Instagram starting to stand up. It's like, okay, you're not black, but you're starting to scream Black Lives Matter from Germany. Okay. You don't know what it's like to suffer at the hands of Mao in China, but you start, supporting, the Hong Kong, what were they called? Riots from a different culture, and you're understanding their struggle. So this is a time frame where all of our struggle, Neptune, which can represent that struggle, that traumas, we started understanding the traumas of other people around the world. That was not just of my own upbringing, sect, language, cultural conditions, and etc. So this happened on Neptune and Pisces, but these are the people I feel are going to be the main ones during Neptune and Aries that are going to come back with, because they're growing of age, they're coming of age, and so they grew up very technologically advanced. They grew up already with smartphones, iPads, tablets, the internet, Instagram, and etc. And so they're the main ones now that's actually going to become the revolutionaries during Neptune and Pisces. Now, separate from that, let's move to the history of Neptune and Pisces. So Neptune and Pisces will happen in 2011 to 2025, right? Where it leaves in March. So Neptune and Pisces is the timeline of, again, a new resurgence of psychedelics. I would say this is the era of ayahuasca and people, surrendering their titles, right? Because Aquarius is about relinquishing your title. You're already at the heights of success. So the people grown and born in Neptune and Aquarius, at a soul level, the people born at that time, they already were relinquishing the titles. They don't want to be the CEO and follow their father's footstep. They don't want to own blah blah blah. They want to kind of let go of the titles that started in Capricorn but was completed in Aquarius. So those people you'll find, like, when it comes to long-term dreams, hopes, and futures, Neptune and Pisces is a timeline where the drugs, the ayahuasca, the rappy, the all the things that help you surrender your identity, to help you step into a complete different alternate reality and dimension, very different in Sagittarius. Sagittarius is kind of aiming, Neptune and Sagittarius aiming in that direction, but they had, that 20 plus years or so to kind of get there. Neptune and Pisces is like, we are here. Okay. So who knows what it's like for the people. I got a nephew born during this timeline, and who knows what he's gonna grow and be like later. But they seem to really not give a F. So that's one thing I think about Pisces. Pisces is not the one who really cares very much. I think they're quite frankly very savage, among other things. So I do feel like this is the timeline where we started really looking at like the water, Neptune, Pisces, both being water and water, and started to understand like, damn, like all this water, all this ice melting in the world, like what is this a part of, right? Why is this pollution happening? Why are our oceans poisoned? And people really try to band together and start highlighting these things. So that's something key and critical. But more than that, it's the time when we stop relying on science. So if Neptune and Aquarius was really science and kind of starting to let that go, Neptune and Pisces is fully letting go of the use of science as the superior focus of education as well as reliance, and instead we're starting to rely on our spirit, we're relying on our intuition, we're relying on our intuition, our imagination, and our deep understanding of these alternate realms that we started to enter through different drugs and psychedelics. Even if it's just getting high out of your mind and having a complete like holistic view of what is spirit like outside of this human body, going into a different one. You would have also seen not just psychedelics, but the era of our parents potentially really addicted to drugs, whether it's like, naproxen, tramadol, oxycodone, and things like this, where they stop caring so much because their physical body is kind of shutting down and they're outside of it. So it start helping break up some of the stuckness, and it could have also created addictions as well. And then finally, we move into the part of history where we're at now, Neptune and Aries. And so after this part of the video, I'm going to talk about the eclipse because it's going to really matter for Neptune and Aries. But Neptune and Aries is really the next revolution happens. This is where the pioneers, I feel like, from Neptune and Aquarius's generation are going to start using technology to create the next evolutionary steps in cyber warfare, being able to shut down any and all thing, going through complete technological blackouts, because they're the ones who were born in this era and saga, and they're the black hat hackers that we have feared from 15, 20 years ago, where we first started seeing movies kind of up off this information. And so, these are the people that you're going to see during Neptune Aries, a tremendous recruitment of cyber geeks, quote unquote, not trying to be rude, cyber geeks who it will basically create a cyber militia, okay, a paramilitary of cyber geniuses and phenomenons, that these people might be completely radical, very powerful, mentally speaking, very technical people, and ones who are ready to go to war, ones who have been trained by CIA, Mossad, and all these other agencies. Because again, communities, things like Aquarius, can represent the community of super spies, the community of, call it what you want, right? The FSB, all of this. These are the things, they're now breaking free. They were trained during that saga and that era, but they're breaking free and they're deciding to walk their own path. So they were trained by certain governmental agencies, but now they're like, look, I feel this is wrong, and I'm going to stand up for what I believe in, personally speaking. And so this is just an era where, these spiritual warriors are going to really have the technology to combine with spirit. And it's like, what kind of AI forms are going to be born during this era and saga, to be honest, we're going to find out. We're going to see. And so this is really, I feel like Neptune Aries, where simultaneously you will see tremendous artists be born, people who use their art during this era of technological advancements to remind us of the simplicities, the beauties of self-development, self-love, and, you know, bravery for an ideal. So Neptune represents those ideals. And so we have to understand, like, we're going to become very brave, and as well as start to observe new forms of religious doctrine, new forms of faith in the self, belief in what you can do when you put action to your ideals, your concepts, your beliefs, and your subjective patterns. And so there will be a brand new emergence. So understand that 165 years, the last time this happened was the Civil War. But this is not going to be a war that's going to be fought with bombs. It's going to be a war that I do see happening on the identity, as well as a tremendous recruitment of young men, young masculine forces, which might be women, you know, the era of women who are completely in their masculine, and also very genius, who has connection to their feminine. And you'll see men who will rise. And I feel like I see this for myself, I rose and altered my own toxic feminine traits and turned them into a superpower where, yes, I can be very stern and forward and like direct, but I'm also simultaneously very compassionate and gentle, and understand the right dose of get your ass in check with the proper tone and for the right person at the right time slot. So you're going to see a healthy expression of masculine energy along with the hyper flex of masculine toxicity. And so these are just this is me talking about the history going from Neptune in Scorpio, the first Martian energy, okay, going through Neptune in Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, and now the next masculine Martian energy side of Mars, right? Neptune in Aries. And so you also had the exaltation of what? Capricorn and Mars energy. So you have 3 Mars energy out of 12 zodiacs that we just went through in since this timeline of us all kind of being born, or maybe some of us being born. So let me get to the next part of Neptune and Aries as you hit the thumbs up and the likes button, and make sure you do check out the all 12 signs for Neptune and Aries, but on the solar eclipse in Aries, because that's going to be very critical. I'm not going to do the 12 signs here. This is something I feel too important to talk about what your future is going to look like. It feels like this needs to be discussed, because this is where we're all walking in direction. Hit the thumbs up and the likes button, and I'll get to the next spot in video. So during Neptune and Aries, okay, we have to understand that the day before there will be a solar eclipse in Aries. Solar eclipse meaning that, you know, a partial of our sun, our powerful masculine king, our powerful masculine ruler, divine spiritual being, and portal of energy and vitality that sends us life on Earth will go through an eclipse. And so part of that energy that I just spoke about and explained will be blocked out. It will also simultaneously be an Uttara Bhadrapada, which is a particular nakshatra in the sky. And the thing is, I feel like because this eclipse is happening at the same time as the entering of Neptune in Pisces, what we're going to see and realize is we're not going to get an overexertion at the beginning of Neptune in Aries. Now, this is a 13 to 14 year transit of Neptune in Aries. So this will set us off, but we're starting this seed, which is what Aries is about. Aries is the first seed that gets planted, an idea, a concept, you know, a personal struggle that ultimately comes into form in 2026 when Saturn in Aries begins. This seed will take about a year from now for the seed. But understand, the battle does not start in 1 year from now, 2026. The battle begins by being conscious on meditating, being still, being quiet, internal focus, as well as extreme and intense alignment with the mystic within, the shaman within, allowing yourself to communicate with your soul, with your spirit, now, March 2025. This is the true challenge for Aries, to slow down and plan ahead far enough. The solar eclipse is happening in the part of the sky where we're still in the Pisces energy of deep internal introspection, as well as complete internal stillness. And so my key is continue to meditate during this early side of March into April, as we understand we're stepping into the spring equinox as well, where energy and vitality as well as life is going through a regrowth and rebirth process. Mind you, March 21st, 7 days or so before this solar eclipse in Aries, we are going to restart the spring equinox, where life will start to be born. So we must understand that really the work is happening way before March. It's happening in Pisces season, where I hope that you are all napping and resting. And when you need to rest, take the extra rest. You could be walking in a park in the middle of the city. You feel like you need to sit down. Just sit down and observe the nature. Observe and nurture. Okay, our observations that are happening deep within. Like I said in the beginning of the video, I was tremendously emotional. It's like, don't try to side rail or detract ourselves from what is happening at a deep unconscious level, and recognize, look, you're emotional right now. It will pass, but experience the emotion. And this is what I find will happen with Neptune and Aries. Those who have done the inner work, this is the seed planted before the transit of Neptune and Aries, before the solar eclipse in Aries, of, this allows me as a male to not just push forward irrationally from insecurity, because I recognized yesterday in this emotional state, I'm emotional again, like I said now, but in a different way. I'm more empowered because I allowed, like a woman, this emotion to exist. And that is what I like to believe is the potency of males today, who have gone through all these gender shifts and identities of, am I male? Am I female? Am I it? Am I him? Am I her? What's my pronoun? All of this with the younger generations are actually teaching us that I am not a male. I am not a female. I am a spirit. I am a soul. I am an infinite being of divinity. Gender is a cage, and Neptune and Aries will break us free from an identity level of this cage with entirety, with totality. Because again, Pisces is totality. And it's like, this has been happening for the last 14 to 16 years while Neptune has been in Pisces. But now that's in the feminine, what happens behind closed doors in the complete utter darkness of our essence, our spiritual essence. Aries is the first light, Martian energy coming into physical form. But what comes into physical form is what we did in the dark. The work you did in the dark, all right? The stuff where ain't nobody see how hard you've been working, Aries. Ain't nobody see how you've been working, Leo. Sagittarius, okay? All that stuff, you ain't get that shine and appreciation. What you've done in the dark is really about to come to light. And so, don't you worry about being acknowledged. Don't you worry. What you've done, the hard work and efforts you put in on, aligning your soul and your spirit in the right direction, you're about to get blessed with tremendous wealth and abundance. And so what I want you to know is this new moon, the solar eclipse in Aries, is going to be partial, yes, but it's going to be the foundation of everything without a blemish. And that's actually what the Sanskrit translates into for this particular new moon. If I skip the language, but the Sanskrit means the foundation of everything, but without a blemish. And so what I'm telling you is Neptune and Aries will show us that we're absolutely perfect. We never needed to fake it through the era of Neptune and Pisces, where everybody was online faking who they are because they think that they can hide. And it's like, well, what is done in the dark comes to light. You can't hide forever. And plenty of people who have been doing that internal research, this is the true mysticism and occult abilities of Aries, because it has the ability to be the light, sparking energy, sparking life, sparking reality itself in the undercurrents of the ocean, which can represent all of the mystery of our spirit, all the mysteries of our soul. And it's the kind of thing of like, yo, deep mysticism is going to happen because Aries is probably one of the most occult energies on the planet Earth, because the more you know yourself internally, the more you shine externally. The more you know yourself internally, the more your demons may even show externally, because you accept the truth. And the truth, what is truly authentic, is that all energies are in unity. There is no separation between good and evil. There is no separation between black and white. There is no separation between anything. And Aries is somebody where anybody that gets triggered by an Aries, it is the simplicity of you being triggered through the projection of you are not accepting the entirety of yourself. Right? Which is everything occult as well as extroverted. Okay, as an expression. And so I do believe that I hit the majority. The collective illusion, the collective healing, the collective trauma, the collective gifts, bliss, and abundance will be coming to light. There will be a tremendous amount of healers that will start to be rewarded. Aries is a sign that does like to work hard and be rewarded. It's one that likes to take flight. It's one that likes to gain attention. As a 0 to 2-year-old baby, Aries likes attention. We must accept and embrace that the attention that we get is going to be attention that we earned. And the attention that we don't receive is going to be the bad seeds that we planted. Trying to gain attention in negative ways, which you can see the world. There's plenty of expressions of that, especially in Hollywood, which I feel is being dismantled. Neptune being Hollywood and Pisces. You will see a rise of healthy masculine. You will see a rise of healthy leaders who can embrace the feminine and the masculine. It's not going to necessarily just be a woman, but you're going to see women who embody healthy masculine and feminine. You're going to see men who embody healthy feminine and masculine, because Aries doesn't really discern between the two. Like a baby doesn't look at a woman different than he looks at a male. A baby is a baby, and it's like, I love you because I love you, and you are life and I am you. And you know, this is to embrace the feminine and the masculine. It's not going to necessarily just be a woman, but you're going to see women who embody healthy masculine and feminine. You're going to see men who embody healthy feminine and masculine, because Aries doesn't really discern between the two. Like a baby doesn't look at a woman different than he looks at a male. A baby is a baby, and it's like, I love you because I love you, and you are life and I am you. And you know, this is the beauty. You will see a rise of martial arts to help discipline, you know, the spirit and the excess of sexual energy pouring out of all of us, that is going to be dissolving the boundaries of sexual oppressions in the porn industry and etc. But even outside the porn industry, just within our society, within our collective subconscious, we will dissolve the boundaries, okay, of sexual energy and how we try to we try to damper or hamper. You can't hold Aries down, because the more you hold us down, the bigger the eruption. And you will likely see during a weather and climate crisis that we could potentially go through, you will see more eruptions of volcanoes. Okay, that first spark of Aries coming through you will see those volcanoes happening underwater as well, which might heat up the waters of the entire world and might accelerate the ice caps melting, which can cause tsunamis and total destruction of coastal cities, of where oppression might have happened somewhere, like, for example, South Africa with Nelson Mandela and, you know, the apartheid and the suppression of, you know, black excellence there through nonsense, which I'm not going to cover right now, politically speaking. But this is a coastal city where when these ice caps melt, you might see that get completely flushed out for, you know, the drama created through everything apartheid, slavery, racism related in that area. You'll see stuff like this start to happen. So don't be confused. Don't get it twisted. When it does, everything will come into balance. This will cause different forms of war as powers change hands. And Aries is a sign of power, and those powers will shift. It will switch hands. So everybody get ready, because the spiritual war on the soul, on the self, on identity, it is here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm ready. I've been training for this, and I've been training other shamans for this as well. So shout out to y'all who have come and did the one-on-one with me. I'm opening up the new applications for those who want to do the one-on-one moving forward. Do check out our membership. If community is something that you feel like you really want to hone your skills, assets, and abilities, start doing more yogic breathing. You want to get involved in Ayurveda training and how that works into astrology, shamanism, and above, is happening, baby. All right. You want to find out and discover the deep occult powers that are being that are dormant within you, that are ready to erupt and explode like a volcano, come work with your boy, because I promise you, we here to do that real. We here to do the work. All right, we here to stay accountable. We here to get it busy. So this is my understanding and take on Neptune and Aries. Go check out your 12 horoscopes and forecast for the solar eclipse in Aries. All right. I will do videos later about this when it conjunct Saturn in Aries, but that's 2026. It's not for now. And I do believe that for the most part, I hear everything that I really wanted to kind of cover. This came to me. Neptune's whispering in my ears last night. You might see a rise of hurricanes from heat in the air, but that's going to do what it's going to do. You'll potentially see more chemical burns. Because chemicals and gas represents Neptune, and fire and burning can represent things like Aries. But also understand, I do believe, more importantly, most of anything, this will be the burning of the ice sheets. If we see that happen in external, it's the burning of the ice, the frozen emotion, the frozen intuition, the frozen psychedelic and abilities, psychic gifts and powers. You will see that burning and melting of the barriers inside of us, not allowing ourselves to, respect our natural born instincts of, yes, my power is infinite. This is stuff burning internally, and that's why you might see this stuff happening externally. So don't get it confused and twisted. As you see chaos in the external world, that is just the awakening of your true power internally. So this is your Ayurveda shaman, Pernell Bobby, inspiring other shamans to wake up to the fact that you create the dream. Okay, there's nothing to wake up from rather than the understanding that you are dreaming. You create that dream. So if you want to come create that dream with me, this is my number one focus all 2025 until God knows when. This is who I am. I am a God, and so are you. Respect that power within you. And if you made it to this part of the video, type in the chat below, I am powerful. And then I want you to hit your chest 2 times. I am powerful. Now I want you to do it again gently with compassion and love, because this is Neptune and Aries. I am powerful with grace. And that's what it turned out to. I ain't even here. I'm just rubbing. And Aries has that ability to shift back and forth between being gentle, loving, nurturing, like a farmer who waters their crop, which is a part of Mars energy from Jump Street, on the other side. And I think this is the last thing I really wanted to say as my tonality switches, and it brings me to one thought that I had while I was meditating. And it's a difference of, Neptune in Pisces is ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter takes about a year to go through any sign, meaning we're kind of set on what's happening. It takes a long time to go through the experience, with Jupiter being the ruler of Pisces, while Neptune has been in Pisces for the last 14 years or so, 14, 15 years. But Neptune in Aries, it is very quick and shifts and changes, right? Understand, we are going through a 2-year, that's not true. I was going to say we're going through a Mars retrograde. Yeah, no. We just went through a Mars retrograde. So that's not going to happen again for 2 more years, right? And so this is the longest Mars in Aries going into Mars in Leo, going into Mars in Cancer, and then back into Mars in Leo. Understand this happened for about 7 months prior, and then we're going to be done for 2 years. So what I'm saying is Mars will be completely free, as well as reinvigorated and brand new, stepping from a fire to a water back into a fire. Getting fixated on our beliefs, on our identity, as well as our monies, and how we're taking risk and speculative gains from our passions, being, on the extroverted stage and saying, look, like, I'm not showing this for myself, but I'm going to get money from this. So other than that, the key is Mars will shift zodiac signs after this retrograde every month. So we're going through this for 13 years to 14 years, okay, with Neptune and Aries. Every month, Mars will shift signs, and the focus will shift. It will change. And that's a major difference, okay, from when Neptune is in Pisces, because that happened every year. And now it will happen every month. So it's going to be tough to keep up with Aries if you're not used to change of directions quickly on the dime. That can be an experience that you can prepare for. My recommendation is to make sure you slow down, and when moments of uncertainty happens, Aries does not deal with uncertainty very well. It starts to actually act quicker through insecurity of, I don't know what's going to happen. It starts to do things. I'm telling you this as an Aries. Instead, those are the times where you pause and you understand, okay, it's a new month. Every time Mars shifts sign, it's a new month. So let me check my seed and make sure I'm planting the right seed for the right occasion, using the right tool for the right battle, for the right challenge, so that I can birth the right result. That's very, very important. I'm glad I remembered that right now. Other than that, if you want to get a one-on-one reading, you want to get a better understanding of how will Neptune and Aries work with you over this next 14, 15 years, come and check your boy. I'll hook you up with a one-on-one reading one time. If you want to work together longer, all right, the one-on-one mentorship with me is going to be more like 12 weeks. Yes, 12 weeks and 6 classes. So there's another thing that you can do with that right there. I love you. I thank you for being here. This is your Ayurveda shaman inspiring other shamans to wake up to the dream that they are dreaming. Okay, to be in control of your reality. Hit the thumbs up and the likes button. Apply one-on-one to work with me, or just go get book a one-off reading. Also, check out the Aries Solar Eclipse video, all 12 zodiac signs. And finally, I do have a course for numerology up and out there. You can go check out that course for numerology. The next course that's going to be coming out is one on planets. I did it a long time ago, but I just whatever. But it's going to be back. Hit the thumbs up, likes button. I love you. I'll see you soon, baby.